If everyone can hear me, raise their hands.
I can hear you.
Pat, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Destiny, okay, your Destiny can't. Okay, so with that, it is 4:34 on Thursday, August 24th, 2023, and I call this meeting, Meridian Historic Preservation Commission to order. Pardon my voice, I'm still recovering from surgery, so it may get worse before it gets better. Roll call, Blaine Johnston's here, Pam Jagosh, Jack Keller, Patrick Giddings,
Here,
Jody Alt, Destiny Hart,
Here.
Deborah Pitts.
Present.
Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. I know you want to do it, Deb. Go ahead.
Do what?
Adoption of the agenda.
Oh, yes. I move that we adopt the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pitts, second by Commissioner Hart for adoption of the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Approval of our minutes from July 27th meeting.
Mr. President, I move we approve the minutes from the July 27 meeting.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Giddings, seconded by Commissioner Hart for approval of our minutes for the July 27th, 2023 meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of our monthly financial statements. Ms. Schiffler, do you have any notice for us on monthlies?
The only new item on the budget was a $53 nomination fee for the Orchid Awards. And we are anticipating 2 other larger items to come through in the next month for projects that are being completed.
Thank you. Those 2 items are for, I believe, TAG and for Whole Films. And that will just about use our budget for the year. With that, approval of our monthly financial statement.
Mr. President,
Commissioner
I
Pitts.
move to approve the financial statement.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pitts, seconded by Commissioner Harts for approval of our monthly financial statements. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. We have a lot of fun here, Amy. With that, new business, presentation, potential partnership with Children's Museum of Idaho for proposed historic display expansion. Amy Costello, Development Advisor, is here. Amy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel like I've got my back to some of you, but I am here from the Children's Museum, and I wanted to first off express our thanks and appreciation to the group, because 4 years ago in 2018, right? Is that 4 years ago? The Children's Museum started and was put together in support with Mayor Tammy and the City of Meridian, and also this commission. Bill, I know that your daughter, JC Jones, was very much involved in the process of supporting the Children's Museum. And I hope you've all had a chance to be there. Were you all invited when we first opened? Great. It is a fabulous place. I put together just a one sheet kind of who the Children's Museum is, but the best way to describe it is through my 4-year-old's eyes. And he is an avid learner and loves the Children's Museum. He will go from the Trader Joe's exhibit to the pirate ship to the rocket ship, to the trains. And basically he's learning and he's playing and he's engaging through play. And that's the mission of the Children's Museum, which is to bring together children, families, and the community to learn through interactive and creative play. And it is just a fabulous place, and I think a treasure in this community. And it's fabulous that it's located here in Meridian. The connection to this fabulous group is that there is a 1890s log cabin outside that has pictures from Meridian when it first became a city, and when obviously 1890s is when Idaho became a state. And within that space holds games and interactive things that children would have played with during the 1890s. So there's a checkers board, there's a game of jacks, there's various things in that log cabin space. And so what I'm coming to you today is because I reached out to Mr. Johnston to put together an application for the Idaho Humanities Council. And that is a grant opportunity that would help us to expand that current exhibit to be what we're calling the immigrant heritage exhibit. And we want to build upon that with bringing in possibly a covered wagon for the kids and families to engage with, create exhibits to tell stories of families, kind of the day in the life of a young child, whether they're a Basque family, whether they're Chinese immigrants, or all the diverse groups that have come together to call Idaho their home. And so we're putting together a proposal to create this exhibit to build on the 1890s cabin, to share stories about what children and families would have engaged in, and what it would have looked like to be a family during that time. And so the exhibit is both, remains true to its mission. It will be interactive, it'll be play-based, but it'll be educational in that, and historical, because it'll kind of tell the stories of what it was like to be a child. And we see this as an opportunity to share more than just our history, but also the stories of our culture. The covered wagon is kind of the centerpiece at this time. And I know that Mr. Johnson gave me a few ideas. And so basically what we were coming to this committee for, we're not asking for funding, we're putting in a grant proposal, we're asking to use your name as a partner, but also to think of you as experts. And you are connected in the community to our historical experts, and we're reaching out to various groups. We've reached out to the Idaho State Museum. We've reached out to the archives through the Idaho State Historical Group. And then also Cassandra gave me the idea to reach out to the Meridian Libraries, who now holds the I guess she's the digital service librarian. And so I think that History Center is now housed within Meridian Libraries. And so thinking through, what content is already out there and who are our historical experts that could assist us with that. So I bring this to you today kind of as a dream and a wish. We're looking for funding from the Idaho Humanities Council. We've put in an application, and we're in the process of that initial letter of intent review, and then we'll get a notice back, and then we'll submit a full proposal in September. But wanted to put this in front of you so that you had the opportunity to be aware of what's happening, and where the opportunity to be our advocates in the community, and also our experts to think through who we should be talking to. And I already got a few names and some ideas that Mr. Johnson suggested. So I don't know if you want to reiterate any of those or make any suggestions or have any other comments.
No, I'll go ahead and reiterate that. I told Amy that there's a gentleman in Jordan Valley, his name is Mike Hanley, that actually rebuilds and builds wagons. That could be a possible resource for her. I told her to reach out to the executive director of the Basque Museum, Annie Gavica. She may know of the Basque population that may have spare wagons laying around that they could possibly use. The other thing I just had thought of while Amy was talking, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Neri, wasn't there some steamer trunks from the History Center downstairs? It's a little bit later than the wagon train, but it may fall in that similar to something that they may have brought out on a wagon is a steamer trunk with all their clothes in it. That may be a possibility.
Yeah, Mr. President, there certainly used to be. I know since they've sort of culled some of that collection, I don't know what's down there anymore.
Yeah, so that may be a
But,
possibility.
yeah, when you talk to the library, they could.
Yeah, talk to the library about the steamer trunks. So that may be something that you guys could borrow, whatever, since they have control of that now. So that's all I can think of right now. But if I can think of anything, I will email you, copy Cassandra and stuff like that. So does anybody else from the commission have questions for Amy?
If anybody wants to come by and visit us, feel free to just reach out to the commissioner here and we can get you to come down as our guest. We could give you a tour or have you come as our guest with a young child, which is always the best part and best way to see the museum. So it's through the child's eyes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
With that, we will go on. We don't have any old business. We don't have any reports. We have an update on the RFP process. I was not able to attend that meeting with Commissioner Pitts and Commissioner Giddings, recovering from surgery. Mr. Neri, during that meeting, Commissioner Pitts said she would act as chair. Can I just appoint her? Or do we need to elect her as a commission as chairman of that subcommittee?
Oh, I did. Was I doing that? I didn't. I thought Pat was going to do that.
Guess what?
It's okay either way. I don't
Guess
care.
what? You're appointed,
Okay.
but Pat and I will help you. So you're not running the ship by yourself. You'll have some help, but I'm allowed, since you've already started the process, I'm gonna let you go ahead and run with it and continue. So,
Well, I thought Pat had started it.
well, according to my notes and the minutes of the meetings, you said you're gonna be chair. So guess what?
I thought I was just going to chair that meeting because I was sitting there. But Pat has really he's done a lot already.
Okay,
So
tell you what, Mr. Giddings,
Yes,
I don't want to take it from Pat if he wants it.
Pat, do you want to be chairman of the subcommittee?
I'm okay either way. I'm just
Okay,
want to be a team player there. So
I know. I'll just go ahead and appoint you as chairman of this subcommittee. That way you guys can continue rolling on. And with that, why don't you, Pat, give us an update of what you guys talked about when you met last?
all right, thanks, Mr. President. So we did, as indicated, met this week. Ms. Schiffler was there, and Commissioner Pitts was there in person, and I was there remotely. I've been a little under the weather, but the purpose of our meeting this week was a planning meeting to talk about next steps for creating an RFP. And so we had a discussion about that. Some good things came out of that, but I think what I want to report tonight is that we, as a subcommittee, we would like to gain input from all of the members of the commission. And that can be kind of a difficult thing to do, to get everybody in one place at one time. And so our idea is that we're going to create a survey, and it'll be something like, Survey Monkey or something like that. We will have specific questions in the survey. We'll send the survey out to all of the members of the commission. And that way everyone can respond, and everyone doesn't have to be on one Zoom meeting at one time. They can respond via the survey. our next steps then would be to gather the results of that survey and use that to guide us as we begin the process of crafting the RFP for the new historic preservation plan. So the questions that we're going to ask are some questions. Deb had some really good ideas and she's come up with a list of questions. If anyone has some questions that they would like to ask of the group, that would be great. We would definitely like to entertain any input that anyone has. I know, Ms. Hart, that you had sent an email. I'd seen an email where you had some good input. And so I think we might want to integrate some of the items that you had brought up too in your feedback. But we'll create this survey, we'll get it sent out, we'll give people a chance to read through the questions. I think it's going to be like a ranked question. For example, what I mean by that is that it may be a question that says, how important is having community involvement or having community meetings to gauge how involved Meridian residents want to be? And that might be like a 1 through 5. Is that something that you as a member of the commission think is really important? Then you would probably make that a 5. If it's something that you don't think is really important, then you might make that as a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or something like that. So I hope what I'm saying is making sense, but that's what our next step is to create this survey and to gather input from all of the commission. Then once we get all the input from the commission, then we can begin crafting the RFP. We have another thing that we did in the meeting this week was that we reviewed some samples of RFPs from other communities. I think we had a sample of an RFP from Teton County in Idaho, from Coeur d'Alene, and from Nampa. And so they've all been really good about providing us with copies of their RFPs, and that gives us some ideas. And so that was what we did. We have another subcommittee meeting scheduled for early in September. And so what I hope to do is have the survey out within the next few days to everybody on the commission. And then hopefully, I know everybody's busy, but you can take some time, go through the survey. And then by the time that we as a subcommittee meet next, we'll have the results of the survey. And I hope that we'll also be in a place where we can begin at least outlining what the RFP is going to be. And so that's where we're at right now. Deb, do you have any input there too?
No, just that I'm just wondering if others would like to see, maybe we could send out some of those, sample RFPs that we got. I thought they were helpful. So maybe, Cassandra, would that be possible for you to send out to everybody those RFPs?
Maybe an easy way, because some of them are a little bit larger files, you can go to the subcommittee meeting and they're all attached to that agenda
Great.
from the meeting from yesterday.
Fabulous. We're basically what we're trying to do is figure out what is the purpose for the plan. What are we trying to do? And by asking a consultant, we just need to know what we're trying to get to. So without, you need to know where you're trying to get to. You can't bake a cake if you don't know what the ingredients are. So it's really important that all of us, if you have a sense, what are you looking for? That we want to create a heritage district, or we want to create more tourism, or more community involvement, those kinds of things. What's important to the other members of the commission? That's what we're looking for from everybody.
Are you planning, or would you, I don't know you rephrase, are you looking to send out the survey by the first of the week?
Well, I hope to do that, yeah.
Okay. So I'll ask members of the commission to not to put any more work on you guys, Pat, but if they have any specific things that they want to see done, send it to you, whether it's a historic district or more tourism or whatever. So that's, those things are highlighted in that survey. That way you can record it. And then just make sure, and I know you knew this, I'm covering bases. Make sure you put a date that you need surveys back by a certain date. That way you can get the answers, tabulate all your information for their meeting on the 8th of September.
Great, agreed.
So,
That may be a little aggressive by the first of the week. I'm not sure. But, but, anyway, if Pat thinks we can do it, then,
yeah.
I sent him
it-
some
Yes,
suggestions this morning.
as soon as we can, because it's really, it's not going to take very long once the survey's out for people to do the survey and stuff. So taking the survey is not going to take long. It's you guys preparing the information and then tabulating results afterwards. And that's what's going to take the longest time.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the survey is not going to be a real long survey. In other words, it's not going to be dozens of questions. It's going to be a smaller number of questions that maybe cover a broader area.
Okay. Perfect. Any other comments on our preservation plan subcommittee? Okay. Hearing none, we will go on to item 5, review the tag survey. Ms. Schiffler, do you have a report for us?
And Mr. President, Commissioners, just for the record, Pam just joined us, or she joined us a bit ago at 4:43. So for that agenda item, the presentation and reports, if you review the agenda, there's a letter that TAG sent us. You can just read through it. Barbara will be here next month. She wasn't able to present this month and they weren't quite ready with the report, but they will have that next month.
Thank you. Project updates. I do not have anything from Eggers Farm from beyond last month, but I will reach out to them again, just to double check. I will also let Barb from TAG know that they are interested in doing a historical signage and give Barb all that contact information. Since she's real familiar with that site from other surveys that she's done, she can maybe help them out. I think everybody's looked at the whole films tour of Eggers Farm. So I think that I'm pleased with the way that turned out. Do you have anything else, comments on the whole films? Ms. Schiffler.
Mr. President, thought that he did a great job. Looked good. I just had one addition to add the restroom that was on the site because it was a WPA project and
Yep.
kind of interesting. I don't think I heard any other feedback. So with that, I think his project is complete. So he'll kind of finalize that and send us the final invoice.
Perfect. And no new information on our Speedway nomination, but we will continue to check with SHPO on that. And see what happens for our next meeting. Future meeting topics, discussions. On September 16th, Barb from TAG is going to do another walking tour of historic downtown Meridian. $3 a person. Ms. Schiffler.
Yeah, so Commissioner Giddings actually had an idea of having another one of those walking tours during Art Week. So I did make that happen. So we're going to have another historic walking tour of downtown Meridian, September 16th from 10 to 11. Meet out front of City Hall at the steps. It'll be similar to the one that happened in May. It's a $3 registration for this one. You go to the Parks and Recs website. I will send everyone an email so that you can find it easily with a link to Art Week and all the activities that are happening then, including the guided tour.
Perfect. With that, so we will continue discussion on our RFPs. Anything new on Eggers Farm will come up. Speedway nomination continues. So that's something I can think of for future meeting topics. Our next meeting will be September 28th. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second,
Motion by Commissioner Pitts, second by Commissioner Giddings for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are done. Thanks, everybody. Have a good month. We'll see you.